Fever dub! Bow, bow, bow. Dub in the chat. A W. Ha.
The Indiana Fever just did something wild. For the first time since 2015, they're 4 games above 100 without Caitlin Clark. Most teams would collapse without their star. The Fever, they broke 4 franchise records in a single night. And here's the twist. 2 players who weren't even on the roster 3 months ago stole the show. This wasn't just a win, it was a turning point. And what happened next? Nobody saw coming.
The 100 win over Phoenix. Stephanie White called that a big win. They were outstanding. Mitchell,
come on.
The former Dallas wing, Natasha Howard.
Nobody was looking for this. We think Kelsey Mitchell's going to shoot, but that is the play to make right there. Nobody in the passing lane.
August 1st wasn't supposed to be historic. Caitlin Clark was still out. The Fever were on the road. And the Dallas Wings booked a massive arena expecting a statement win behind Paige Bueckers. But what they got instead was a clinic. By the time the final buzzer sounded, Indiana didn't just win, they rewrote their record books. 4 franchise records fell in one night. First, Aaliyah Boston and Natasha Howard became the first teammates in WNBA history to each record at least 10 points, 10 rebounds, 5 assists, and 2 steals in the same game. That's ever in the entire league. Then came Kelsey Mitchell. Her 23-point night didn't just lead Indiana, she officially became the league's leader in 20-point games since the All-Star break. That was her 13th this season. Next, enter Chloe Bibby. In just her 3rd game, she became the first Fever player ever to hit multiple threes in each of her first 3 appearances. And finally, Aari McDonald, unsigned just weeks ago, became the 3rd fastest Fever player in history to reach 150 points and 50 assists. The only names ahead of her? Tamika Catchings and Caitlin Clark. 4 records, 1 night, and Clark wasn't even on the court. But it's who broke them and how that really tells the story. Aari McDonald wasn't supposed to be part of this story. At the start of the season, she wasn't on any roster. No team had room, no contract offers came in. She was on the outside looking in until the Fever called. June 25th, McDonald signs a rest-of-season contract after a brief hardship deal. No headlines, no hype, just another depth signing, or so people thought. Fast forward to August 1st, and she's running Indiana's offense like she's been there for years, dropping 15 points, 6 assists, and leading the charge in Caitlin Clark's absence. And this wasn't a one-game fluke. The game before, against Phoenix, career high. She followed it up with back-to-back standout performances, including controlling pace, dictating tempo, and setting up teammates with veteran-level poise. Coach Stephanie White called her a blessing in disguise. Kelsey Mitchell echoed it, saying Aari's leadership was the glue that held everything together when the team needed it most. Her impact went beyond the box score. McDonald brought speed, toughness, and real point guard instincts, the kind that don't show up in highlight reels but win close games. And when the Fever needed someone to step into Caitlin Clark's shoes, it was the player no one signed who filled them best. But Aari wasn't the only surprise that night. Coming up next, Chloe Bibby's record-breaking debut. Chloe Bibby wasn't supposed to even touch the floor, let alone break records. She was a quiet, mid-season pickup. No buzz, no press release headlines, just a 7-day contract to fill in some bench depth. But in just 3 games, she made history. Against Dallas, Bibby drained 2 huge three-pointers, momentum killers for the Wings, energy boosts for the Fever. But more importantly, those shots put her name in the record books. No player in Indiana Fever history has ever hit multiple threes in each of their first 3 games with the team. Bibby just became the first, and these weren't garbage time buckets. They came in moments where Indiana needed space, needed energy, and needed confidence from deep. Coach Stephanie White didn't hesitate. After just 2 games, she signed Bibby for the rest of the season. Not because she was flashy, but because she understood her role perfectly. She stretches the floor, White said, and we haven't had that. Bibby's ability to hit timely shots gave Aaliyah Boston room to dominate inside, and in a system built around spacing and quick ball movement, she fit like she'd been there all season. From a 7-day tryout to a record-setting sharpshooter, Bibby turned a temporary role into something much bigger. And while Bibby stretched the floor, Indiana's front court was doing something that had never been done in the WNBA. Next up, Boston and Howard make league history together. You don't usually see WNBA history made in the middle of a regular season road game, but that's exactly what Aaliyah Boston and Natasha Howard did, together. Against the Wings, both Boston and Howard recorded at least 10 points, 10 rebounds, 5 assists, and 2 steals in the same game. That's never happened before, not once in WNBA history. Boston finished with 12 points, 11 boards, 5 assists, 3 steals, and a block. Howard matched her with 11 points, a career-high 16 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals, and a block. This wasn't just dominance, it was chemistry. They moved like they'd been playing together for years. Boston drew double teams and dished it out. Howard cleaned the glass and pushed the tempo. They fed off each other's energy and controlled both ends of the floor. What made it even more impressive? They did it without Clark on the floor pulling defensive attention. Boston had her 5th straight double-double, while Howard flat out overwhelmed Dallas in the paint. Coach Stephanie White praised their poise, saying the team leaned on them in the biggest moments. And the numbers backed it up. When Boston and Howard were on the floor together, Indiana's plus-minus soared. They weren't just playing well, they were rewriting what front court dominance looks like. And while they anchored the paint, one guard kept the offense humming. While the spotlight kept shifting, Kelsey Mitchell stayed steady and deadly. Against Dallas, she dropped 23 points on 9 of 19 shooting, leading the Fever's offense like a seasoned killer. But that stat line came with a title. Mitchell now leads the entire WNBA in 20-point games since the All-Star break. That was her 13th this season. Quietly, she's become Indiana's most reliable scoring engine, even when defenses are keyed in. And here's what makes her different. Mitchell doesn't need flashy highlights. She just gets buckets, off the dribble, from deep, or slicing through traffic. With Clark out, Mitchell didn't panic. She thrived, and the Fever followed her lead. You'd think losing Caitlin Clark would throw Indiana off completely, but it did the opposite. Without their superstar, the Fever stopped relying on hero ball and started playing as a unit. Ball movement was quicker, shot selection got smarter. Everyone stepped up because they had to, and the result? One of their most complete games of the season. Bibby caught fire. Mitchell took control. Boston and Howard dominated inside. Suddenly, the whole roster looked sharper, more balanced, and more dangerous. It's not that Clark was the problem, but her absence forced Indiana to grow, fast. And that growth may have unlocked a version of this team no one expected to see this soon. Now here's the twist. This game wasn't just a win, it was revenge. Just 2 weeks earlier, the Fever got embarrassed by Dallas, losing by 21 points in a game that felt like a meltdown. But this time, Indiana came in with a score to settle. From the opening tip, they were sharper, hungrier, and more physical. They held the Wings to just 6 made threes, a complete flip from the 14 Dallas hit in the blowout win. Indiana attacked the paint, shut down transition, and forced Dallas to work for every point. It wasn't just about the scoreboard, it was about pride. And when the final buzzer sounded, the Fever had flipped the script with a 13-point win. They didn't just beat Dallas, they avenged them. Now here's where it gets interesting. With Clark coming back, will this new chemistry survive? With Caitlin Clark set to return, the question now is, can this version of the Fever keep rolling? They've proven they can win without her. But what happens when she's back in the mix? The real test will be blending her star power with this new team chemistry. Because for the first time in years, Indiana isn't just exciting, they're dangerous. They've gone from lottery-bound to playoff hunters, and if this core keeps building, they're not just playing for wins anymore. They're building a future. One game didn't change everything, but it might have sparked something bigger. This wasn't just another regular season win, it was a message. Indiana proved they're not just about Caitlin Clark. They're deeper, tougher, and more united than anyone gave them credit for. Boston is turning into a franchise cornerstone. Mitchell is a silent assassin. The bench is alive. And now the league has to ask, what happens when this team puts it all together? This game wasn't about who was missing, it was about who stepped up. And if the Fever keep growing like this, the WNBA better be ready. Think this version of Indiana has what it takes to make a real run? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you're into stories like this, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss what's coming next.